right. Hi, welcome. Thank you for attending. We're going to explain a little bit how you can build scalable cloud-native apps with Kubernetes and Cosmos DB. So we have an agenda. We're going to do a little bit of an introduction into Kubernetes, Cosmos DB. We're going to talk about resilience in Azure Kubernetes Service. Do a little deep dive in Cosmos DB, what it can do, how it can help you, what it cannot do as well. We're going to go into a demo. In the demo, we'll be spinning up a Kubernetes application. And we're going to be scaling it based on the KEDA autoscaler, which is now a new feature in Azure Kubernetes Service. We're going to dive into some key takeaways. And if we have time, we have some reference architecture that we want to go into. This OpenAI is built on top of the combination between Azure Cosmos DB and Kubernetes Service. So we're actively developing the integration between both to make sure that the latency is as low as possible and the performance is the highest. Now I'm going to give the mic to Soam.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for not taking a break and sitting and listening to us. It's, yeah, Kubernetes, it's complex. If you are, how many of you are managing a Kubernetes cluster or have done it before? Cool, so you know the pain. So if you're doing it on a private cloud, or even if you are managing your Kubernetes on your own, you know how big and complex that can be. I have 3 deployments. All of them has no pods right now. What do they do? So they all live in one single namespace. We also have a separate namespace where we have deployed KEDA, and KEDA is listening to the middle deployment, the Cosmos DB scaler. There we have custom logic, which checks at runtime how much the whole application is lagging behind. And depending on that number, it tries to scale up the top deployment, which is the order processor. The last deployment is basically something which is jamming a lot of orders to Cosmos DB. I think you want to talk about the managed identity a bit?
Yes. So we recently have announced that we're also adding managed identities to workloads within AKS. So this is a really cool feature which adds a lot of security into your AKS clusters. With managed identities, you're able to assign an identity to a workload. And that workload can then impersonate this managed identity, and you can authenticate to Azure resources from your Kubernetes cluster. Like an example for this is that you do not need, if you have a SQL Server or Cosmos DB connection, you will not need a password anymore. You can authenticate using the managed identity.
I have 2 order processors running automatically without scaling up. So the metrics that the Cosmos DB scaler found out at runtime, pushed it to KEDA. KEDA actually spinned 2 pods because there are 2 partitions where are lagging behind. And depending on how far you want to stretch it, the logic and how much you want to count it, it's going to reflect on the KEDA metrics, and the KEDA will actually scale it up for you.
We have an upstream service, and this is a very simple program, and it's going to just spam the Cosmos DB with database transactions. And with spam, I mean like we have a while loop that says true. So while true, we just keep spamming. And then we have some change feed processors, which are going to check, all right, we see that the change feed of the Cosmos DB is piling up. It keeps increasing. So we need to notify our KEDA pod that we need more resources. So that's why we will see in a bit that when the change feed is going up, that the pods will also increase. And when we stop the application, then the pods will scale back to 0. Another thing that Cosmos DB has is materialized views and change feeds. So change feeds are data persistence, focusing on the changes in data specifically. So whenever changes are being made to a document in your Cosmos DB, it will be tracked, and you can see what data is being changed in a chronological order. And this could be very interesting because I'm going to show that also with the demo. Yeah. Because if you see that the change feeds are piling up faster than your application can process them, you will know that you're gonna have a performance issue. So our demo is also focused on, all right, so we're gonna check the change feeds and scale accordingly.